I haven't vlogged in a while, so starting off with reasons why it's been so incredibly busy. So it's just a hands-on way to get them involved with the text and fun, and a way for them to manipulate things even in reading. I went into my flight attendant voice, I guess is what I call it, like, please put that back and let's try it again.
You might even wonder why I go MIA sometimes. I can't deny. Try to hold on to the things I can't keep. Through my fingers, I was losing control.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kitty, and I am a third grade teacher in the state of Florida, and you guys are here for a day in my life. We are going to get started by putting on makeup. It is a Thursday in October. I haven't vlogged in a while. Last week I shared a Q&A video on my channel, or I hope it was last week if I was able to get this up in time. Last time I shared a video on my channel, it was a Q&A video. And I think I vlogged the week before that. So, I did a vlog on my fall holiday. That's what it was. Like I did a fall holiday vlog, and I did a Q&A. So it's been a while since I've actually vlogged at school. So I'm excited to take you guys along today, but it has been a very busy couple of weeks. So I'm going to spend a brief moment catching you up to speed, and then I'll check in and share the rest of my day when I get to school. All right, so starting off with reasons why it's been so incredibly busy. First, the last time I vlogged on my little day off, I was sharing that I had my observation. So I had my formal observation was it 2 weeks ago? Maybe it was 3 weeks ago now. And then had to have all of the post-conference, pre-conference, all of that stuff went really well, really, really well. I was very, very excited and thrilled. And it's just always so much fun to get feedback on what you're doing and for people to notice the little things that you're trying to do to be better at teaching and to get better at your craft. And so it was really fun to have my principal in and for her to notice and recognize some of the things that I'm doing. So that was really fun. Then we are in the middle of our Booster-thon fun run season. Comment below, let me know if your school does Booster-thon fun run. I never did it until I came to this school a couple years ago. But this year, instead of doing the Booster-thon stuff, we're doing it on our own. So it's not even Booster-thon, it's just a fun run. And we're still using the Booster-thon platform for donations, but that's it. So if you've ever used Booster-thon before, you know that they always do little prizes and t-shirts and then videos that go over different character traits that match a theme. So since we weren't going to have, PTO is taking care of all of the prizes and stuff, and they're doing all the incentives, but they met with me because they were like, can you do some videos to share the opening? We're doing an Olympics theme because we just had the Olympics. They're like, do we want to have a video to promote it that's an opening ceremony? That'd be really cute. And I was like, yes, I can do that. And then they're like, okay, what about these videos the Booster-thon did during the week? Tell us about those. So I told them what they were. They were always 5 to 7 minutes long, which is way too long to watch every single morning for 2 weeks. It was kind of annoying, honestly. But they did go over the character trait, and then they had some kind of storyline that went along with them. Oh, I'm doing my makeup out of order. It says I'm talking because I usually don't do my eyeshadow until after I've done the first layer of my hair. Well, I just put my primer on for my eyelids. So let me do my eyeshadow, and then I'll pause there and I'll do the rest of my hair. All right. Now I need to get started on my hair. Let's go back to the right order. So as I was saying, the good thing about the Booster-thon videos is that they do have this storyline that goes throughout the 2 weeks that you're fundraising. And I think that was engaging for the kids. They enjoyed the storyline, but honestly, it was too long. And I think they still thought it was a little bit boring. So I was like, what if we just did videos that were created in-house that featured the faculty and staff? Because the kids might be more engaged and willing to watch it at the end of our morning news if it has people that they know and people that they see all the time. And our school does a house system, and each of our houses has a character trait. Hold on. Been using this, the Kristen S. It's the Ultra Fine Workable Hairspray brushable texture, it says. Heat protecting, style shaping, light and layerable. So I use this, I spray it, I brush it out, I let it dry before I curl, because it has heat protective qualities in it as well, and that's what the directions say to do. Okay, anyways, what was I saying? Oh, so for the last 2 weeks, I have been, ow, I just hit myself with my hairbrush. For the last 2 weeks, I have been working on those Boosterthon videos because we're making them in-house, and I used ChatGPT to write all the scripts, which was fantastic, and made like a series of 8 videos, one for a pep rally to advertise that, one for the opening ceremony. Okay, I guess I made 9 videos. One that was like a challenge intro, and then one video for each of our 6 houses that featured teachers and students reading a script, completing a challenge that demonstrated the character quality of that house, if that makes sense. So I've been doing that for the last 2 weeks, which means every single day after school, I've been getting together with teachers and students and working on filming, which has been a blast, honestly, and it's very fun to be able to use, like, obviously I know how to edit videos because I do YouTube, I do social media, and it's just been a hobby of mine for a while, but it's been very fun to be able to use that hobby in a way that helps the school. And I think the kids are really gonna like it. We played like the first video on the news yesterday, and the kids were so excited to see like people that they knew. They were already like, oh my gosh, there's Miss So-and-so, because it was just the intro video. So it showed like 2-second clips of all these people. But anyways, that was not the way I wanted that hair to go. That's fine, it'll be fine. So that's what I've been doing for the last 2 weeks. In addition to that, I have parent conferences next Tuesday. So I've been using like every spare moment that I get when I'm not video editing to work on parent conference data. I'm actually excited because my principal will get subs. She's okay with us getting subs so we can have like an entire day dedicated to parent conferences, which is great. Because this year I have like 33 of them to do or something like that, something crazy like that. Because I have 2 classes, but I get to do it with my partner. So it's kind of nice, but I also have to write my sub plans for that day as well. I'm sitting here thinking about that. So it's like every spare moment that I've had, I've not been able to vlog because I've been doing something else. I've been doing lots of video editing, but a different kind of video editing over the last 2 weeks. But I'm back and I'm here, and I'm just gonna take you along for a day in my life today. I have a meeting at 8 o'clock, so when I get to school, I'm gonna have to like bust a move. Sorry, I'm turned around backwards so I can see the back of my head. I'm gonna have to like bust a move to take you through what we're doing during the day. And I have a practicum student with me right now, which is really exciting. And she comes every Wednesdays this semester, but this week she's coming the whole week. So that's been really fun. And she's been doing some of the things that we do in our reading block, leading some of those things. So can you tell it's been like insanely busy? And we started the second quarter. So like report cards were due, report card comments were due, and all of those great and wonderful things as well. So that is why I have not picked up the camera to do an actual vlog in probably like 3 weeks, not counting the one that I did on my day off because it wasn't exactly a teaching vlog in school. So that's enough chit chat while we're getting ready this morning. I'm just gonna finish curling my hair, make some breakfast, enjoy some food before I go in today. And then when I get to school, I'll like walk you through what we're doing for our block today so you can get a good idea of what my lesson looks like. And yeah, I think that's it. So I'll check in with you guys later.
While the waves fell asleep, didn't know what I should have let go. Thought I lost my way, but now I am sure. If I spend all my days searching for gold, I would be running out of time to see all your beauty and beyond.
at school and I'm gonna go over what we're doing for the day with you guys just so I can fill you in. But first I need a sip of coffee. It's early, but I have a meeting at 8 o'clock till like the bell rings. So let me grab my drawer for today and I'll show you. All right, so first it might be helpful for you to know what skills we're working on this week. So for word study, we're working on compound words where you take a closed syllable and add it to a closed syllable and put them together, because last week we did open versus closed. And then our comprehension skill for this week, we're reading a text about animal friends in nature, so partnerships that animals have that are, I guess you would say, symbiotic, right? Isn't that the like technical middle school vocabulary word for that, like where the animals help each other, like mutual friends? Anyways, so we're focusing on text structure, and I've been teaching it to them by going text structure and talking about like how a building has structure with walls and a floor and a ceiling, but you don't see that in a paragraph, but a paragraph is organized and built a specific way to share information. So we're working on text structure, and this week we're working on problem and solution. And so we've done some introduction things with it. We read a really fun text. Let me get it and I'll show you. I used this one last year when I taught problem and solution, but I used it on Epic. So if you don't have this book, you can get it on Epic if your district uses Epic. Mine does not anymore. I wish it did. That's a story for another time. But this is called When Lunch Fights Back, and it's about all of these like creepy creatures, like real creepy creatures in real life who have really cool defense mechanisms. So like the one we read first was about a hagfish, which has like this sliminess on its skin. So when predators bite it, it releases the slime and it like chokes the shark. It fills the shark's gills, and it's kind of gross. I was like, in the spirit of October and creepy Halloween things, like this isn't like spooky, but it's kind of icky. So I think they've been really excited about this, but we use this to introduce problem and solution in addition to a resource that I found on Teachers Pay Teachers that gives problem and solution in like small paragraph form. So we did a couple paragraph practices, and then I read the text and I read the chapter about the hagfish, and we had to identify what was the problem, what was the solution. Then yesterday we did the same thing. We worked on text structure again, and this time we did a cut and paste with our table group. This is from the same product. I'll link it in the description. And there were 6 paragraphs, and they had to decide, was it problem solution or was it not problem and solution? We did the first 2 together. Just a pro tip that I gave my practicum student too for cut and paste is I always make them label where they're gonna put each side or like each piece before they cut it out. So for example, we read the first paragraph, it was problem and solution. So we underlined the problem, underlined the solution, and put a check mark. The second paragraph was not, so we put a little X in the corner, and I had them work on the rest with their table group, and I had them put the checks and the X's first before they decided to cut out and glue, because it's easier for them to go back and change a check and an X than it is to glue something down and then be like, uh-oh, and unglue it and take it out because they put it in the wrong spot. I also told them how many would be on each side. I told them there'd be 3 problem and solution, 3 not. That way when they were deciding with their group, if they ended up with more that were problem and solution, they needed to go back and talk about, okay, which one does not belong. So was it like a helpful hint? Yes, but did it also encourage conversation? Because some of them were like, well, we already have 3 problem and solution. So if this one's problem and solution, then maybe one of these isn't. So that worked well. My first block class is just kind of quiet. So it was a struggle. My practicum student and I were walking around like trying to get them to discuss it. Second block rocked it. They were all having conversations. I mean, first block rocked it too. They got the problem and solution. It was the conversations that were lacking. The second block, they all talked about it. It was great. So that was a good exercise to practice problem and solution. And then we read our weekly text, which is called Weird Friends, and it has problem and solution structure. We're going to do that again today. We're working through government. It's our last week of government in our studies weekly for social studies. So we have the Florida local government and then our city government, which is exciting. But oh my gosh, I'm so done with government. I'm so done. So that's kind of what we're doing today. I'm going to show you my slides for the day because I actually love these slides. If you watched my vlog that I shared on my teacher, not teacher planning day, what was it? Our like little holiday, I went to a coffee shop and just worked on slides. These were the slides that I was making. So I'll show you what those look like so you can see what our whole group will look like today. All right, let's get these slides pulled up. We are on day 3 of our instruction today. So our agenda is we're going to review vocabulary. Hopefully today we'll write some vocabulary sentences. I don't know though, because I'd rather get the problem and solution sentences practiced. than the vocabulary ones, so we'll see. Grammar, we're starting something new. We're learning about interjections. Here's our text, and then problem and solution practice. So here's our vocabulary words for the week. I always have the word, and then I use a little GIF to show it. I feel like we've practiced them quite a bit yesterday, and we've really talked about them, so we may not use them in sentences today just so we have more time for problem and solution practice. Here's our grammar. This is from Top Score Writing. That's the curriculum that we use. We're talking about interjections. Here's some examples of interjections. I love the interjection song from Schoolhouse Rock, so of course we're going to do that because this group loves any kind of song that we can pair with our skills. Then we've got some practice. We're going to circle the interjection. I will just have them write it on their whiteboards, or yeah, I'll probably just have them write the interjection on their whiteboard. Then we're going to get into our weekly story with problem and solution. So I'm using the arrow manipulatives. I'll show you those in just a minute. And we're just looking at 3 different examples from the story this time where there's a problem and solution. So they're going to take out their text. We're all going to find the same page together. We're going to read the clownfish and the sea anemone. Then the students are going to have actual arrows that they can use to point to the problem and point to a sentence that shows the solution on their page. So they're going to put the arrows where it shows the problem and where it shows the solution. Then after that, we're going to write on a sticky note and stick it on that page. The problem is, the solution is. Okay? Then we're going to do the same thing again on the rhino page. They're going to point an arrow to the sentence that shows the problem, like the text evidence for the problem, the text evidence for the solution, and then we're going to write the problem is, the solution is. I anticipate this will take a while, so that's why I want to save time for this. And then at the end, it's the blind shrimp and the goby. And again, they're going to put the arrow where they have the best text evidence for the problem and the best text evidence for the solution. And then we will write it. And that is the end of our block today. So these arrows I shared about, oh gosh, excuse me. These arrows I have shared about on Instagram already. I got the idea from Joanne Miller from Head Over Heels for Teaching. She has a resource on Teachers Pay Teachers that I will link below if you're interested in getting a little comprehension manipulative. Hers are triangles. She teaches 4th and 5th graders. And I just thought an arrow might be a little bit more clear for my 3rd graders. Like, this is where I want it to point. Like, the point of your arrow should be touching the sentence. So I just made some on PowerPoint. I don't sell them, and I'm not uploading them anywhere because I got the idea from Joanne Miller. So if you'd like to get some comprehension manipulatives or see what they're like, I will link those below for you. But right now, they're living in our table caddies, which I've been loving, by the way. It's been perfect. And they're just in little Ziploc baggies. I'd love to get, all of my talking chips are in this container right here. I'd love to get another one of those for every table group so that I can put the arrows in it. But for right now, they're just in Ziploc baggies. Here's what they look like. They'll just take them out with their partner that they're sitting next to. Each of them takes a problem and solution and arranges it on their text. I think I have a picture. I'll insert a picture right here of when we use them for central idea and key details. I think it'll be easier to use them for problem and solution because key details, there were a lot of key details to find. But for this, there's one problem, or like, for the most part, we're finding one text evidence for the problem, one text evidence for the solution. So it's just a hands-on way to get them involved with the text instead of just reading and saying, like, let's underline the problem, underline the solution, which is all good. This is just a little bit more hands-on and fun and a way for them to manipulate things even in reading. So I was like, why does math get all the manipulatives? Reading should get some too. So that is what we're doing today. I'm really hopeful that it goes well. And then tomorrow we're doing the same thing, just with 3 different animal pairs. So if today goes well, then tomorrow will be a breeze, and hopefully I'll be able to let them, like, I plan on doing the first one for sure with them. Let me plug in my lights. I'm planning to do the first example, animal example, with them for sure, and then probably the second one. Honestly, we'll probably do the first 2 together and then release them to do the 3rd on their own. But then tomorrow, hopefully they'll be able to do a couple of them on their own, or maybe like the first one we do together, then they do them with a partner or something, and they'll be a little bit more independent in that way because we're doing it 2 days in a row, if that makes sense. So that is what my day looks like. That's how I'm teaching all of these skills. Yeah, I think it's going to be a successful day. I've really enjoyed having my practicum student. She's actually, I didn't talk about word study. Well, she's actually been doing the warm-up problems and the word study, but I'll grab my folder. Because again, a lot of people have been very interested in how I'm doing word study and asking questions about it. I've shared it before in a vlog, and I'll share it again. We're using UFly resources from the UFly toolbox. We're not teaching the UFly curriculum, but they are in kindergarten, first and second at my school. So we are just reinforcing the UFly skills by using that for our spelling, but we're calling it word study because we're really focusing on patterns, not just random spelling lists. So this week we're working on closed syllable, making a compound word. So this is what we did on, not Monday, we weren't here on Monday, on Tuesday, because we started on Tuesday this week. We put this in our folder, we separated it into syllables, and we labeled the vowels. Yesterday with my practicum student, they went through the decodable text, they found the compound words, they highlighted them. And so today, I'm not sure what she's got planned for today. I did word study on Tuesday. I like introduced the skill, and then she's leading it today or like yesterday and today, and then Friday will be our word study quiz. I might give it to my first block and then see if she wants to give the word study quiz to my second block. It's really nice to have 2 blocks because then they can watch you do it once and then they can try it, which is super cool. But she did a wonderful job. She's been leading them through the warm-up questions and those, and so I'm very appreciative of that. And we've gotten a lot done during like my intervention time today. It's always so much nicer to have 2 people in the room because I was like, okay, I'm gonna pull and work on fluency, like recording and fluency checks with some kiddos. Will you work on the grammar skill, work on contractions, and just give them extra practice? So we have some Lexia practice from contractions. She was like, sure. So she just did grammar practice over here with the ones who were in the room, and I pulled for fluency, and we worked, and the kids were quiet for like half an hour, just working on their Lexia and their AR, and we were pulling groups, and it was magical. So I definitely love having her here. She's here all week this week, but then she goes back to like 1 day a week. And then she'll be here one more like full week in November, and then that's it for the semester. But it's been so fun having her here as just an extra set of hands, but I'm hoping that she's learning a lot as well. I'll have to check and see and ask her if she's learning anything. But yeah, that's it that I've got for today. I'm just gonna sit, and I need to start working on parent conference forms for my block 2. So I've already finished all of them for block 1 and passed them over to my swap teacher, and she's given me hers. So I'm gonna start working on the conference forms for block 2 this morning until my meeting at 8 o'clock. Hopefully I'll be back by the time the bell rings to kick off the day with my class. But if not, everything is set up and ready to go. So my practicum student will just be in here for like 5 minutes with my swap teacher. Instead, we'll just keep the door open. I don't think that's gonna happen though. I have a feeling that it'll be like perfect timing, that I'll come back right when the day is supposed to start. So I'm gonna get my morning slide rocking and rolling, and then I'm going to just, let me put the word study folder back, especially since she's leading it. I don't want to accidentally move her pages around, and I'll put her warm-up page up on my table as well. That way it's ready to go. There's my Halloween Town poster. I haven't decided how I'm going to use that yet this year, but it's there. You just saw it, so sneak peek. But that's it. That's all I have to catch you up on for right now. I'll check in later and definitely at the end of the day and let you know how today went. I really needed just one tiny piece of chocolate and a piece of chocolate. That's it. Oh. All right. So we made it to the end of our Thursday. We survived. We made it through. We got through the lesson. It is so interesting to see how the lesson varies from block to block. Let me explain. So, like my first block, of course, they're just not as chatty and collaborative. It's also early in the morning and it's a smaller class. So it was like pulling teeth to get them to like talk about their answers. And there was no way they were gonna be able to work on it with one another. But I felt like they grasped the academic concept enough, which was good. And honestly, it was a very fun activity. Like, I think it was pretty enjoyable with my first block. Okay, this is me realizing you can't see my face. This whole time I've been standing here talking. But with my second block, like, I know they got the academic concepts, and they're much stronger in their conversation skills. And so as I walked around, I heard more conversations like, oh, I think this is the problem in the text because of this. This is where we see the solution because of this, which was great. But it was like all the manipulatives and the pieces, some of them just cannot handle it. The focus isn't there. And we're chatting between every direction. And I'm like, people. Like, I had them slide their whiteboards to the side today. And it was like, and everybody started talking. And I was like, okay, put your whiteboard back. And let's try this again. I said, this time, when I say slide your whiteboard to the middle of your desk, I want you to do it just with your hands, not with your voice. Because it does not require any talking to move your whiteboard. Slide your whiteboard to the middle of your desk and then move it to the middle. I was like, that's what it should sound like every time. So it's quick and we're ready to go and we can do more practice together. Let's get started. Like, I went into my flight attendant voice, I guess is what I call it. Like, please put that back and let's try it again. So it was like a struggle to get through all of the like managerial things, if that makes sense, like the manipulatives and giving the expectations for that because they were just more chatty. But on the flip side, like their conversations were stronger about the problem and the solution. So, you know, it's just always interesting to see how things go differently with different groups of kids. It's very, very telling. But for the most part, like the lessons I plan can be the same for both blocks and it works out pretty all right. So yeah, we will do the same tomorrow with the problem and solution, which is good. I've almost finished all of their fluencies. My wonderful, what's it called? Practicum student did small groups today with contraction practice, which is what we've been working on in grammar. So while she was doing that, I pulled some kiddos to do fluencies. And I actually really love pulling them for fluencies because I use it as like a little time to chit chat with the kiddos and get to know them, because with 35 kids, give or take a few, it's really hard to have time with each of them. But I feel like fluency checks are a good time where I have like one student sitting with me. So I usually try to do some kind of connection point and I make it relevant to the text that they're about to read. So today we were reading about two sisters that were playing a game. So I'd introduce the text. I'd say, you're going to read about two sisters playing a game. We're going to read for 1 minute. So before we do, tell me about your brothers. Tell me about your sisters. What are some games that you guys like to play together? And I just learn a little bit more about them. Like, especially for my homeroom class, I knew if they had brothers or sisters for the most part. But for my block 2, I really didn't know. For some of them, I was like, I honestly don't know their answer to this question. So it's fun to like get to listen to their stories and then like tell me something about themselves a little bit more personally and just have a connection moment anytime I'm doing fluency. So I 10 out of 10 would recommend that if you're doing fluency checks, because I just think it's a good habit. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I need to tell you. I think I'm going to reset my board real quick, and I'm working on parent conference forms still. So I think I'll be here a little bit later working on those, and I will pick you guys back up in a little bit. I'm trying to like get my room back in order because like I said, I've been filming after school like every day for the last week. And so I'm really feeling like today I can get everything back into order, and I've been able to clear off like my missing work counter and my makeup work counter. So I'm trying to declutter up here, work on those forms, and declutter around the classroom a little bit today since I'm not in a rush to leave. Time to see all your beauty and beyond. So instead I'll sing this song. Paint a star with a moon. Home on the couch under a blanket. David's on his way home from work. He'll be home shortly. We're trying to figure out what we want to do for dinner, but I think I'm going to go get in the bath because I kind of have like recess germs on me still, and I just want to get into comfy clothes, but I need to like clean off first. And I'm just going to relax in the bath because I'm tired. Gosh, I worked on like 5 or 6 of those parent conference forms, and then I was just like done. I was like, I can't do any more of these. I got to finish the rest tomorrow though, because conferences are next week. So I've got a big task ahead of me tomorrow, but I'm going to get in the tub, relax for a little bit, and then check in with you guys later.